time for me to make my World of Warcraft video. Generalized mage stuff. Ramble a bit. Probably going to go through the talents. I'm not going to give you the best strat or whatever. I'm just going to give you what I view as the honest what this is used for. Most likely from a player versus environment idea, considering all I see is PvP as an analog to gay interaction. Anyways, we'll get into that one maybe a little bit later if you really want to flame war me for that. So, on the first tier of talents, you get them at level 15. After you choose your specialization at 10, you get a crap ton of spells then. Then at 15, you get to pick between Presence of Mind, Scorch, and Ice Flows. Presence of Mind, pretty good. I mean, they're all relatively situational. Kind of the idea of casting while moving. Presence of Mind, pretty much just a free spell. Or not free. Instant spell. Not free. Should be, though. But that would break Arcane. We'll get into that one later. So, forgive me, I'm looking at my screen a lot for this. A minute and a half cooldown, it's not that much. While you're leveling, it's pretty good to throw off. I had it on fire for a little bit there. It was really nice just to be able to start out with an instant Pyroblast, hope it crits, hit Inferno Blast, get another Pyroblast from the hot streak. That was really kind of nice, but I'm not a fire mage. I'm sane. And it works good for boss fights, especially if you don't have to move. Currently in Dragon Soul Ultraxian, you don't move on that fight. Actually, you don't move on... Anyways. So, Scorch. If you're pretty much going to be constantly on the run, or you just like running a lot, it's entirely possible you just love running. If your character never stops moving, one, you don't buy anything, because you just run past the vendors. But you can cast Scorch, and just just burn things to the ground. It's stupid cheap. You can cast it while moving. It doesn't matter. You can just run around in a circle and blow the shit out of something. By the way, this one will not be kid-friendly. And Ice Flows. I'll put it on my Frost bar because Frost already has a fair bit that's already instant. Ice Lance is instant, has been since its inception back in Burning Crusade. And Frostfire Bolt. You really don't want to fire a Frostfire Bolt until you have a Brain Freeze proc, and that makes it instant free and do a bit more damage. So you've got two instant spells, and Deep Freeze in and of itself and that's really only useful while soloing. But anyways, Ice Flows is so you can cast two Frost Bolts. Or while you're running back from a wipe and you're like, I lost my mana gem. Okay, while you're running back to the boss, you can hit Ice Flows and cast your Water Elemental, because it's got a cast time now, and then you can remake your mana gem on your way back to the boss fight. It works kind of well. It's really up to your choice. There's places for the usage of each of them. I don't know how the Mists of Pandaria boss fights are going to go too terribly yet, but I'm probably going to be picking Scorch for a lot of them because, well, I like to get the hell out of things. But if it's just a stand there and shoot, I'm probably going to Presence of Mind. You don't need Scorch and Arcane Blast back to back, especially when you're already in a 6 stack. You might as well just, or in the middle of combat, you can just palm your mana gem. Yeah, you lose a lot of things, but you don't lose the cast time. So, man, I rambled about that. Okay, next one. 30. Temporal Shield, Blazing Speed, and Ice Barrier. While I have seen some situational use for Temporal Shield, I don't necessarily notice it while leveling. Because unless you're going to get the crap kicked out of you in the next 4 seconds, you really don't want to use Temporal Shield because it's got its cooldown and it will heal back all the damage that you took in those 4 seconds. Over 6, but Blazing Speed. I've read that tooltip over and over and over. I cannot figure out where I personally would ever use it. It seems cool, but it just, something, I don't know, it just, there's something just not right about it. And then there's Ice Barrier. Pretty much good all the time. It's a damage shield. It's a damage absorption shield that it's huge. It's immense for what it is. You rival Disc Priests with bubbles. And that's really good for soloing or doing much of anything, because you can just sort of keep it constantly running on its 25-second cooldown. And you just sort of keep it up all the time. And yeah. But the only time I've seen Temporal Shield really useful is in Raidfinder Ultraxian. Now, I actually did test this. I knew I was doing this. It wasn't an accident. I didn't click my button. Now, anybody who's done Ultraxian knows what I mean by I didn't click my button. Instead of clicking my button, right before the cast of Hour of Twilight went off, I hit Temporal Shield. It did about 80% of my health in damage. Since it's Raidfinder, it didn't kill me. And that was an instant amount of damage. 4 seconds later, I started healing back all that damage. That was pretty cool. Kind of wrecked the healing charts at that point. I mean, I wasn't anywhere close to the healers themselves, but it was pretty weird, especially when you're healing yourself for Arcane. Like, the healing things right now are currently Holy and Nature. Yeah. And healing yourself for Arcane is kind of weird. I think Warlocks heal themselves with Shadow or something. Maybe Shadow Priests do the same thing. I'm not necessarily sure. I haven't scoured the combat log, nor ever played a Warlock. So, the next tier is level 45. This is just a N plus, or N time, it's 15 plus N. However many talents you want, enter in N, and that's what your thing. So it's like, oh, I want 2 talents, so you'll have to be level 30. So, for math people, that makes a little bit of sense. But it pretty much starts at 15 and goes every 15. Ring of Frost, Ice Ward, and Frostjaw. No idea which one I would pick. I've tried using Ice Ward on a tank in a dungeon. Currently, they've had little hissy cows that I made them do something that they felt that wasn't deserved. So, respect out of that one. Or Ring of Frost, because it's useless. I mean, you can put it in, but then the tank just walks things out of it. So I just keep Frostjaw up, because whatever. I have to pick one. I don't, but I picked one, Frostjaw. So I have Counterspell and Frostjaw. So, yeah. Pick whatever one you want. I mean, Ice Ward, what does it do? You put the Ice Ward on the tank, or someone, and the next time they get hit, they explode in a Frost Nova. Yeah, I can see where that could be useful, but I don't do that sort of thing. I'm relatively secure in myself. Anyways, the next level, 60. When you start going to Outland, Greater Invis, which will replace regular Invis, Cauterize, and Cold Snap. Cold Snap. That finishes pretty much most of your frost cooldowns. And also gives you 30% of your max health. So if you take a crap ton of damage, easy enough to heal yourself up. And, you know, refreshes Ice Block and Frost Nova and Cone of Cold. So it pretty much, you use it, it finishes the cooldown on most of your weird snaring CC ability things and gives you 30% of your health. on a 3-minute cooldown. Better than it being on an 8-minute before. So, yeah. If you like using a lot of frost stuff, especially Ice Block, probably what you should do. Using Ice Block a lot, you might want to wonder about your tank. And, yeah. Cauterize. I've seen people pick Cauterize. I think the only point at this is people are picking Cauterize because it used to be in the fire tree. And they always wanted to, and they were so indoctrinated into playing fire, at least in the most recent patch, because it was the best spec. So, and that's probably also why they've taken a few of the other ones. Because, well, that's what I was before, I have to have these now. No, you don't. Think for yourself, people. I've taken greater invis. You could say the same thing because I still am Arcane, but Arcane had improved invis before, and it basically did the same thing. It's just that I got ridiculously used to what people call Mage Vanish. Because now that my guild has Mass Resurrection, it works really well to be able to instantly invis as the boss is running to you because you're the only one left alive because you got the hell out of dodge. You realize, this group's going to wipe, I'm getting the hell out of here. So you run away until you're the only one left alive, and then you invis. And then you come back and you res everyone. And people are like, wow, that was pretty cool. And you're like, no, I just don't want a repair bill. So, that's why I picked that. Other people pick Cauterize. I'm just not too terribly fond of even ever getting close to dying. I've used Invis to dick my threat a bit. Because before it was getting out of control, but then they buffed tanks. Now I don't have to worry about it too much, but it's also nice to be able to, when running older dungeons, you can just hit Invis and run really fast. Or run through a lot of things. You don't have to wait for the time down of 3 to... It's a first world problem. I get it. But... And the next one, which is the last one we currently have available, level 75, and that's the bombs. I'm pretty good at math. And I've seen and I've done my calculations on each of them. Now, while I have seen, I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be like, which one's the best, what should I do, what gets my DPS up there? No, this is just pure situational stuff. Because in terms of the total amount of damage done between, say, Nether Tempest and Living Bomb, in optimal situations, they're so they're so minuscule. I mean, we're talking in like the tens of thousands of damage on the total, and we're talking a difference of maybe 12. I mean, I don't know why the numbers are that different and yet so small, but it's negligible. Frost Bomb's pretty nice. You got to know when to use it. It's got a cast time. It's got a countdown. But when it hits stuff, it hits it really hard and really good. I was in Kara the other night. I realized I didn't have tier 4, so I'm running through Kara, and chest has been broken recently, so I haven't been able to get past that. Anyways, so I used Frost Bomb after picking up the entire trash for Morose. The entire ballroom area where everyone's dancing around in circles, having fun. And I just picked them all up, and I Frost Nova'd, and I put Frost Bomb on someone. And I waited for it to count down, and it exploded. Now, I grant you I'm pretty geared, but it one-shot everything. I think its AoE cap is a little bit not in existence because of the way the spell functions. It seriously was an explosion of frost, and 40 mobs were dead? Yeah. That was pretty cool, but this is really situational. Could be coupled with a Presence of Mind pretty easily, because you can just palm that damn thing. And there's a glyph and stuff, and I can get that into a later video. I'm getting pretty high on this one. Nether Tempest is probably the best single target. You can put it on multiple targets, and that could kind of do it, but you really got to move around and keep the thing going. If you've got 2 or at 3 targets, Living Bomb does the same amount of damage as Nether Tempest. Well, it's at about 12 different. So, you know. And in Nether Tempest, if you're going to be sitting on an Ultraxian for the new people, or Patchwork for the old people, Nether Tempest is your way to go. Every specialization has its weird thing that interacts with your bomb spell, and that is it. And Nether Tempest works just fine, even though, you know, because I have it on my Frost spec, and it's honestly procs a lot. Procs Brain Freeze a lot. And now that they've buffed the crap out of Frost Firebolt, it's really nice seeing that. Provides a lot of movement for Frost. Anyways, I'll probably make a really short video about the 90 talents. I was on the beta for a while, so I know how they all work, but that's beta. It was a pre-made, not my live character, so I don't really know quite how that works.